The battlefield was quiet now. Smoke rose from the broken ships. Fire crackled in the wreckage. Bodies both human and alien lay still across the ground. The war between humans and the Zyrel had hit hard here. Jace moved slowly, rifle in hand, eyes scanning every corner of the crash site. He was alone. His squad had been separated during the fight, and his comms were dead. He had one goal: survive and find someone, anyone, still breathing. Then he heard it. A soft sound. A whimper. He turned fast, gun aimed, but found no threat. Just a piece of metal shaking near a large piece of wreckage. Behind it, something moved. Cautiously, Jace stepped closer. His boots crunched over broken glass and burned grass. He reached the wreck and pushed the sharp metal aside. There, lying in the dirt, was a Zerelian girl. She was small, maybe his age, with pale silver skin and glowing blue veins running across her arms and neck. Her uniform was torn, her long hair covered in ash. She was bleeding badly from her side. Her blood wasn't red, it was a strange shimmering blue, glowing softly in the dim light. Jace froze. Everyone knew what Zyrel blood could do. The rumors say it was poisonous to humans. Even a drop on your skin could burn through flesh. Soldiers joked about it, but nobody laughed when someone actually touched it. They said you died in minutes. Jace started to back away. But then she looked up at him. Her eyes were wide, glowing like twin moons. She didn't speak at first. Her lips trembled. Then, in a weak voice, she said, "Please, don't leave me here." Jace's heart raced. He should leave. He should turn and walk away. That's what the rules said. That's what survival said. But he didn't move. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said, lowering his weapon. She winced. "I know. You already saved me." Jace blinked. "What do you mean?" She coughed, blood dripping from her side. "You didn't shoot." He looked around. The wreckage behind her was part of a Zerelian escape pod. It had crashed hard. She must have been the only one inside. And somehow she survived. Jace knelt. "A little closer. You need help." The girl nodded slowly, her breathing uneven. "They told me your kind wouldn't care. That humans leave us to die." Jace looked into her eyes. She didn't seem dangerous. She seemed scared. "And hurt. What's your name?" he asked. "Lyra." He nodded. "I'm Jace. Hold on, Lyra. I'll get my medkit." He reached into his bag and pulled out a small white case. As he opened it, Lyra panicked. "No," she said, reaching out. "Don't touch my blood." Jace stopped. Her hand trembled. Her glowing veins pulsed faster. "I'm just trying to stop the bleeding," he said. "It's not normal blood," she whispered. "It can hurt you. You can't touch it." He paused. "But if I don't stop it, you'll die." Lyra looked away. "Then let me die. I'm not supposed to bond with humans." Jace frowned. "Bond?" She said nothing, just closed her eyes and pressed her hand to the wound. Jace watched for a moment. Then he saw it. Her blood was slowly pulling back into her skin, like it was alive. The wound began to close, but not fully. Whatever healing was happening, it wasn't enough. "I don't care what your blood does," Jace said quietly. "I won't let you die." Before she could stop him, he reached forward. His glove touched her side. A tiny bit of her blood smeared across the surface. His hand burned. He clenched his jaw, trying not to scream. It felt like fire, but then it faded. The pain vanished. His skin cooled, even soothed. He pulled his hand back and stared at it. Nothing. No wounds, no burns. Just a faint blue glow on the glove. Lyra stared too. "That's not possible." Jace looked at her. "Maybe your blood doesn't kill everyone." She looked deeply into his eyes, her expression confused and full of fear. "Or maybe It chose you. Jace didn't know what that meant, but he knew this. He couldn't leave her behind. Not now. He picked her up gently in his arms. Hang on, Lyra. We're getting out of here. And as he carried her through the wreckage, the glow on his hand slowly began to spread. Something had started. Something that could not be undone. Asterisk. The moment Jace stepped into the human outpost with Lyra. In his arms, alarms blared and guns pointed at his head. Put the alien down now, a soldier shouted. But Jace stood still, hand glowing faint blue. The outpost was a small hidden base deep inside the ravine. Only a few squads knew it existed. Jace had hiked for hours, carrying Lyra through rough terrain. Now he stood at the gates, covered in dirt and sweat, and holding an alien girl who shouldn't be alive. Inside, the soldiers moved fast. Medics rushed in, but stopped when they saw the glowing blood. The others aimed rifles at Jace. He didn't move. Lyra was unconscious, still breathing but weak. Commander Halden pushed through the crowd. His face was hard, his voice cold. You brought that into my base, soldier? Jace nodded. She was dying. I couldn't leave her. Halden looked at Lyra, then back at Jace's glowing hand. His eyes narrowed. Do you know what her blood is? I know what they say, Jace said calmly, but I touched it. I should be dead. Maybe not now, Halden snapped. But that stuff's Cerellian bonding plasma doesn't kill fast. It changes you first. Warps you. Jace frowned. She told me it chose me. The room fell silent. Halden stepped closer. She said what? That her blood ... chose me. Halden swore under his breath. He turned to the soldiers. Quarantine him. And the alien. No one else touches them. But, Commander, one medic started. Now. Jace was shoved into a sealed medical room with Lyra, placed on a nearby cot. They locked the door behind him. Inside, bright lights flickered on. Surveillance drones hovered overhead. Lyra stirred. Her eyes fluttered open. You brought me with you. Jace sat beside her. You were right. I didn't want you here. But I'm not leaving. She stared at his hand. The blue glow had spread up his wrist now. It's already starting, she whispered. What is it? He asked. Lyra hesitated. Then she looked at the drone above and motioned for him to come closer. Quietly, she said, My people, long ago, made blood that could merge with other species. Not just to heal, but to connect, to share thoughts, power, even memories. It was banned. Dangerous. Why? Jace asked. Because it worked too well, she said softly. They... First bond was with a human. They became something new. Jace leaned back. And now it's happening again. She nodded. But no one will accept it. They'll try to kill us both. Outside the quarantine room, Halden was already speaking into a secure channel. He's infected, he said. Send the research team and prepare for full containment. Later that night, Halden visited Jace through the thick glass. You should have let her die, he said coldly. I couldn't, Jace replied. She's not like us, Halden said. And now you aren't either. Jace stood up. I'm still human. For now. Halden's voice lowered. But if that blood spreads, if it takes full hold, you'll be something else. And I can't let that happen inside my base. Jace's voice stayed firm. She's not our enemy. Halden's face was unreadable. She's not yours yet. But she will be, soldier. Just wait. That night, as Jace sat beside Lyra, something strange happened. She reached for his hand. The glow met hers. For a moment, both their eyes flashed. Bright dot, and in that instant Jace saw something. Memories, images, her world, her childhood, the destruction, her fear, her loneliness. her people casting her aside because her blood was impure. Because it could bond too easily. He gasped and pulled back. Lyra looked away. Now you see? He stared at her, heart pounding. That wasn't just a vision. That was you. Lyra nodded. We're starting to link. Jace looked at his arm again. The glow now reached his elbow. It didn't hurt, but he knew it was only beginning. Outside, soldiers moved in the shadows. Orders were whispered. Gears were prepared. Someone wanted this bond stopped, and in the cold silence of the night, Jace realized the next day might be their last inside the space. Jace gripped his chest and collapsed, his heart racing, eyes burning blue. Lyra cried out, I told you not to drink it. But it was too late. He already had. The night was quiet, too quiet. Inside the quarantine room, Jace sat beside Lyra. The glow on his hand had spread to his shoulder. His skin tingled. His heartbeat was faster than before. The light in his veins pulsed with every breath. Lyra watched him with worry in her glowing eyes. You need to stop this, she said. The bond is growing. If it reaches your brain, it could change who you are. Jace nodded slowly. I feel it, but I also feel stronger. That's not strength, Lyra warned. That's the blood rewriting your cells. He looked down at his arm. What happens if I let it continue? You become something else. Not human, not Cyrell. Just bonded. Jace didn't answer. Deep inside, he could feel something changing. His thoughts were clearer, his vision sharper. He could hear things beyond the walls. And in his chest was a strange warmth. It didn't feel like poison. It felt alive. Suddenly, loud boots echoed outside. A soldier's voice spoke through the intercom. Stand back from the alien. You are ordered to isolate and prepare for extraction. Research team is en route. Lyra's face turned pale. They're going to cut us open. Jace stepped in front of her. They're not taking you. Then, pain hit him sharp. Sudden. Burning. He fell to his knees, grabbing his stomach. His body shook violently. His blood felt like fire in his veins. His mouth opened in a scream, but no sound came out. Lyra rushed to his side. What did you do? He looked up, eyes wide. I drank it. Lyra's hands trembled. What? When? Jace gritted his teeth. Last night. When you were sleeping, I had a cut. I took a drop from your wound, and I drank it. She pulled back in shock. You fool. I told you never to take it in that way. His skin began to glow brighter. Lines of blue light formed across his chest and neck like veins of lightning. His back arched. He gasped. Sweat poured from his body. You're burning from the inside, Lyra whispered. You weren't ready. But Jace wasn't screaming anymore. He stopped moving. He fell forward silent. Lyra dropped to her knees beside him. No, please. She touched his face. Wake up. Nothing. Outside. The soldiers were preparing to storm the room. Then Jace's hand twitched. His eyes snapped open. Bright, glowing blue. He sat up slowly. His breathing returned to normal, but his body was different. Stronger, taller. His skin pulsed with energy. Lyra stared in disbelief. You survived. Jace looked at her. His voice was calm, deep. I feel awake. Your body accepted the full bond, Lyra said. That's never happened before. I thought it was poison, he whispered. It is, she said. To those who aren't chosen. Suddenly, a loud boom hit the wall. The soldiers were coming. Jace stood tall. Then let them come. Lyra reached for his arm. No, you're not ready to fight. But Jace smiled slightly. I don't think I have to. As the doors exploded open, flashlights and weapons flooded the room. Down on the ground, a soldier yelled "JAC" He didn't move. Instead, the glow from home. His chest spread outward like a pulse. Every light in the room flickered and burst. The soldiers screamed as their tech shorted out. Guns dropped. Alarms died, then silence. All eyes turned to him. Halden stepped in last. He saw Jace standing there unharmed, glowing, something not quite human anymore. "What have you become?" Halden asked. JAC looked at Lyra. Then back at him. "Alive," he said, more than ever. Asterisk Jace touched the wall, and it melted under his hand. Lyra stepped back, eyes wide. "You're not just bonded now," she whispered. "You're becoming something they feared." Jace stared at his hand. The wall wasn't made of anything special, just standard metal plating. But when his fingers brushed it, the surface had rippled like water. Then it melted into a pool of soft, glowing silver before hardening again. Smooth and clean. He wasn't dreaming. His body was no longer the same. "Lyra," he said quietly, "what's happening to me?" She looked scared. Not of him, but for him. "You're not just bonded now," she said. "The blood didn't just connect with you. It's merging completely. That wall trick? That's not normal. Not even for our kind." He looked down at his skin. His veins still glowed, but now they pulsed with rhythm. His muscles felt light, but strong. He wasn't hungry. He wasn't tired. His senses were too clear. "I hear them," he said suddenly. "Outside the base." Lyra tilted her head. "Hear who?" "The Zyrel. There are scouts nearby. They're coming." Lyra's face turned pale. "They must have sensed the bond. You're like a beacon now." Jace turned toward her. "What do they want?" She didn't speak for a moment. Then she said, "To destroy what you've become." Outside, chaos was building. Commander Halden had retreated after Jace's energy pulse knocked out the lights and fried every weapon in the room. But he wasn't giving up. Reinforcements were on the way. Inside the base's command center, he stared at the screen. Satellite sensors showed alien ships circling nearby. He slammed his fist on the console. "We should have killed that girl on sight." A nervous officer whispered, "Sir? What if the human is the key? He's stronger now. Maybe we—" "No," Halden snapped. "He's a threat. We don't make deals with weapons." Back in the sealed room, Jace sat on the floor, breathing slowly. Lyra checked his vitals, her hand hovering near his neck. "Don't have a fever. No pulse irregularities. But your cells, they're glowing from the inside." He looked at her. "Are you afraid of me?" She paused. "No, but you need to understand something." He waited. "My people made the bonding. Blood during our oldest wars. It was supposed to create peace between species, unity. But instead, it made monsters." Jace raised an eyebrow. "Monsters?" "Those who bonded fully," she said, "lost their sense of self. They became tools of instinct. The blood took control. But I still feel like me. For now," she said. "But the change begins slowly. At first, it feels like power. Then it becomes need." Jace stood. "Then I'll control it. I have to." Lyra reached into her pocket and pulled out a small stone-like device. "This is a stabilizer," she said. "It helps slow the blood's influence. But it only works once." She placed it in his palm. "Use it when you feel you're losing yourself." He nodded, gripping the stone tightly. Hours passed. Jace and Lyra waited inside as the sound of ships outside grew louder. Suddenly, the base shook. A voice echoed through the hall. "All personnel, evacuate immediately. Zerelian ships approaching. This base is now compromised." Jace stood quickly. "They're here." Lyra didn't move. "They're not here to fight." "What do you mean?" "They're here for you." Moments later, the ceiling above the base Open cut cleanly by alien tech. Light poured down, and slowly. 3. Tall Zyrel figures floated into the room. Jace stepped in front of Lyra. His hands glowed again, ready to fight. The lead alien raised a hand. "We are not here to kill," he said in a deep, echoing voice. "We are here to witness." Jace didn't lower his stance. Witness what? The alien looked at his glowing arm. "The return of the Forbidden's bond," he said, "and the birth of what should not exist." Lyra moved beside Jace. "He's not a weapon." "No," the alien agreed. "He's a question. One we must answer." Jace ran through the burning corridor, carrying Lyra as alarms screamed around them. Behind him, gunfire echoed. Above him, alien drones scanned for his heat. Everyone wanted him captured or dead. The peace didn't last long. After the Zyrel elders arrived, things got worse. They spoke calmly, but behind their glowing eyes was fear. They didn't understand how a human survived the bond. In their history, no one ever had. To them, Jace was a threat, and threats must be contained. Jace didn't trust them. He felt it in their tone, in their glances at Lyra. Called her tainted, whispered about corrupted bloodlines. Even among her own people, she was seen as broken. He wouldn't let them take her again. But Halden made the first move. It started with a sudden gas release at the base vents hissed, and a sweet scent filled the air knockout gas. Lyra collapsed. First, her body too weak. Jace grabbed her and held his breath, trying to escape the room. But the doors were sealed. Red lights flashed. Then came the soldiers. They moved in fast, gas masks on, guns raised. They didn't fire. They didn't need to. They had syringes. Jace roared, light bursting from his body, pushing them back with a wave of raw energy. Walls cracked, metal bent. The lights exploded. But it cost him. His knees hit the floor. The blood inside him pulsed louder. Not with pain, but with hunger. He needed more. More power. More control. More of horror. He shook the thought away. That wasn't him. That was the bond. "No," he whispered. "I'm still me." He stood up, carrying Lyra through a broken panel. Sparks rained down as he climbed into the ventilation shaft. Outside, the alien ships had already left. They didn't fight. They simply observed and disappeared into the clouds. Jace had no allies now. The humans wanted to contain him. The aliens wanted to study him. Only Lyra trusted him, and even she looked at him now with worry in her eyes. They escaped into the night, running across open ground as drones hovered above. Every time Jace used his power, they found him faster. Lyra begged him not to. "Each time you use it," she said weakly, "the blood takes a little more." "I don't care," he replied. "I'll burn it all if it means keeping you safe." She shook her head. "You say that now. But when the bond speaks louder than your own voice, will you still be you?" They found shelter inside an old communication tower, long abandoned. Jace laid her down and checked her wound again. It was healing, but slowly. She was getting weaker. He took the small stone stabilizer from his pocket. It still glowed faintly. Lyra opened her eyes. "Not yet. Save it. You need it more than I do." She smiled faintly. "I don't. You're the one changing." He looked at his reflection in a broken screen nearby. His eyes were fully blue now, glowing even in the dark. His skin had strange patterns, thin, pulsing lines like circuits under the flesh. He didn't even look human anymore. "I don't feel pain," he said quietly. "I don't feel tired. I don't feel anything." Lyra took his hand. "That's what scares me." Suddenly, a beeping noise filled the air. Tracking signal. They had been found again. Jace stood up, fury growing. No more running. He stepped outside into the wind. Asterisk. A squad of armed humans surrounded the tower. Behind them stood Halden, now in full combat armor. He raised a megaphone. "Jace," he called out, "this is your last warning. Surrender the alien and yourself, or we'll bring this place down." Jace said nothing. Then Halden added, "She's not worth your life." Those words lit a fire inside him. Jace stepped forward. "I didn't ask you to decide that," he said. His body lit up. The ground under him cracked. The air shimmered with pressure. Halden gave the order. "Fire!" Gunshots rang out. Jace didn't dodge. The bullets stopped mid-hovering like dust. And then they dropped. Everyone froze, even Halden. Jace walked toward them slowly. "I'm not your enemy," he said, "but I will protect her." One soldier whispered, "What is he now?" Even Jace didn't know anymore. Asterisk, "You can be human again," the alien elder said, standing beneath the dark sky. "But only if you give her up." Jace looked at Lyra, barely breathing in his arms, and whispered, "Then I choose not to be." The battle didn't last long. Jace never fired a weapon. He didn't need to. His power moved like wind silent, but crushing. Every bullet turned to dust before reaching him. Soldiers dropped their guns and backed away. Even Commander Halden, who had once ordered Jace's death, froze at the sight of him. But Jace didn't kill anyone. He only walked forward, glowing with light and pain, until the humans fled into the shadows. Then it was silent again. He turned back to the tower, where Lyra still lay, pale and weak. Her breathing was slow. Too slow. "Lyra," he whispered, kneeling beside her, "stay with me." Her lips trembled. "It's too late." "No," he said, pulling the stabilizer stone from his belt. "Take this." She shook her head weakly. "That's yours. You'll lose yourself." "I'd rather lose myself than lose you." He placed the stone gently against her chest. It glowed warm then bright. Her body relaxed. Her breathing returned. But Jace felt something tear inside him. The warmth in his veins turned cold. The hunger came back stronger now. His thoughts blurred. Who was he? Where did she end and he begin? Then light poured from above. Now the Zyrel ship hovered silently, lowering a platform. 3 elders stood on it, tall, regal, glowing in gold robes. Jace stood slowly. They spoke through thought, not words. "You are not one of us." "But you are no longer one of them." He clenched his fists. "So what am I?" The lead elder stepped forward. "A bridge, a mistake, a miracle. We do not know yet." Jace asked, "Why are you here?" "To give you a choice." Lyra stirred, weak but listening. The elder continued, "We can remove the bond, clean your blood, make you human again. But she must stay with us. You'll never see her again." Jace's heart sank. "And if I refuse?" he asked. "Then the bond completes. You will no longer be human. You will be something new, something unknown." Lyra's voice was soft. "Don't do it for me, Jace. You didn't choose this." He looked down at her. "I didn't?" he agreed. Then he looked at the stars. "But I choose now." He turned to the elders. "Take your offer and leave." The elders' glowing eyes narrowed. "You would give up your entire species for one outcast?" Jace nodded. "Yes." Lyra's eyes filled with tears. The elders stood still. Then, without a word, they vanished. The platform lifted into the ship, and the ship blinked out of sight, vanishing into the night sky. Inside the tower, Lyra sat up slowly. "You gave up everything," she said. Jace looked at her, glowing softly in the dark. "Not everything. I still have you." She touched his face gently. "But what are you now?" He paused. "I don't know. But I'm not afraid to find out." Far away, in hidden command centers and alien chambers, both sides watch recordings of him, and in hushed voices they gave him a new name, the one who chose. Asterisk, they came to kill what they didn't understand. But when Jace stepped into the light-glowing blue, holding the alien girl in his arms, none of them could move. He wasn't just alive. He was something more. The desert wind howled softly. Jace stood at the edge of a ruined outpost, looking up at the sky. His body no longer ached. His blood no longer burned. The bond was complete now. He had crossed the line. He was no longer fully human, and never would be again, but he didn't regret it. Behind him, Lyra sat on a stone ledge, legs pulled to her chest, watching him with quiet eyes. Her strength had returned. The stabilizer had worked, but only because Jace had given up his own. Now she lived. And so did he. Though the world wanted neither of them. A shadow moved on the horizon. Multiple aircraft hovered, forming a silent wall in the sky. Human ships, alien ships. Both sides had come, not to fight each other, but to decide what to do with him. Jace could feel their fear, their confusion. Satellites had watched him heal without medicine. Drones had recorded him turning bullets to dust. Even Lyra's people didn't fully understand how he lived. Now they feared what they couldn't control. Jace. Lyra stood beside him now. We don't have to face them. We can run. He looked at her with a soft smile. And hide forever? She nodded. Isn't that better than dying? He took her hand. I didn't survive to run, he said. I survived to show them. Show them what? That we are not a mistake. Moments later, Jace stepped out from the broken walls into the open. Spotlights from the hovering ships locked on him. Red dots lined his chest. Dozens of guns were aimed at him. Neither side gave orders. They waited to see what he would do. He held Lyra's hand tighter. And then he raised his voice, not loud, but strong. I'm not your enemy. No one responded. He took a step forward. The earth beneath his feet lit up with blue lines. That pulsed with each heartbeat. I didn't ask to be changed, he said. But I won't apologize for surviving. More lights flickered. Drones zoomed closer. I could fight, he added. I could destroy this field in seconds. The tension grew. Lyra looked up at him. Uncertain. Then Jace did something unexpected. He knelt down and let go of all power. No glowing. No weapons. Just silence. I don't want to be a god, he said. I want to be understood. Minutes passed. No one fired. No one spoke. Then, slowly, a human officer lowered his weapon. Then alien captain. One by one, hands dropped from triggers. Someone in the ship above whispered, He's not attacking. Another replied, He's surrendering. No, said someone else. He's showing us mercy. A new word spread across both comshuman and alien alike. Alive. Not a weapon, not a threat, just alive. A hybrid who had chosen love over power. Later that night, the skies cleared. The ships were gone. No one dared touch him now. But no one hunted him either. He had become something else entirely. A symbol. Lyra, curled up beside him under the stars. Her head rested on his shoulder. Where do we go now? She asked. Jac. He looked up at the endless night sky. Anywhere, he said. Everywhere, she smiled. Even if we don't belong? He turned to her. We do belong, he said. Not to them. Not to Earth. Not to Zyrel. But to each other. And with that, they walked into the unknown. Hand in hand. No longer hunted. No longer afraid. Just alive. And beyond. Asterisk. The end.